we're going to do some ankle stuff. For this session, you're going to need your half dome or your rolled up towel. You're going to need a ball, a tennis ball or any kind of ball will do, and your strap. Are you ready? So I want to talk to you a little bit about ankles with this session. So a lot of people will mention that they feel like they've got weak ankles or unstable ankles, and what can they do to help work on those. So I'm going to give you some movements to do for your weak, unstable ankles. But what I want you to think about first is, often it's not just the ankle that's a problem, often it's the foot. So our feet are designed to move really, really well. They are super flexible, they have over 100 muscles, ligaments and tendons, they have 26 bones in each foot, so that alone tells you that they're designed to move around a lot. Over a quarter of the bones of the whole body are found in your feet, so they are designed to move over uneven ground and just to absorb impact. Unfortunately, a lot of the shoes that we wear are very rigid and they don't allow our feet to move very well. So if your foot can't articulate over the ground, it can't move very well, it's going to move to the next joint up, which is your ankle. So if you're going over uneven terrain and your foot can't move, the ankle's got to then do that. And our ankles aren't really designed to do all of that work. And if you often go over on your ankle quite a lot, you can easily strain those ligaments around your ankles and they don't actually heal very well. They don't have a very good blood supply, so ligaments don't tend to heal as well as muscles do. So we're going to work on the feet and the ankles. Okay, and we're going to start by checking the range of movement that we have available at our ankle joint. So we need the ankle to flex, so the angle between your shin and your foot to get smaller, and we also need them to extend so that joint to open out a little bit more. And if, like me, you've always wanted to be able to do a squat and to squat all the way down to the floor and you can't quite get there, sometimes it's your ankle mobility that's letting you down. So we're going to have a little look at that. We're going to check how much flexion we have there first. So I want you to come near a wall, and then I want you to stand about a fist distance away from the wall, or kind of come down to the floor and be about a fist distance away from the wall, and then I want you to pop your toes there, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring the knee towards the wall, and can you get that knee all the way to touch the wall without your heel lifting? And if you can, that's pretty good. Try it on the other side. So again, you're going to kneel, you're going to have your fist just against the wall so that your toes are fist distance away from the wall, and then again, you're going to kind of lunge forwards to bring your knee to touch the wall. Is it the same on both sides? Is it easier on one side? See how that feels. So that's seeing how much flexion we've got in the ankle, and that in itself is an exercise to increase our range of mobility in our ankles. Now we're going to look at how much extension we've got, and for this we're going to come onto all fours. Okay, so you want to see how much extension we've got now. So if you come onto your hands and your knees and then get the tops of your feet down on the floor, and can you get your foot fully down on the floor, or is there a space underneath here? Now sometimes it's stiffness through the feet that's going to stop you from getting there. Sometimes it's just that lack of mobility through the ankle joint. Whichever it is, this is again something that we can work on here. So we want to have those tops of the feet down on the floor, and then just rocking your weight back, forwards and backwards, loading and unloading those feet and those ankles, and you can come all the way down and kind of just rest there. So we're just noticing how much of the foot is in contact with the floor. Is the front of the ankle in contact with the floor, or do we have a space under here? Okay, we're going to come back up to standing. So as I mentioned, we need to have really flexible feet, and if your feet are very stiff, then a really nice way to help to get them more mobile is to just use a ball. Any kind of ball will do. This is actually the dog's ball. So we're just going to roll out our feet with that, and you can play around with this. You can use as much or as little tension as you need. I kind of like to press into the ball and then roll down the length of my foot. I like to start in the middle. You just want to make sure that you cover all of the surface of the underside of your foot, so making sure that you get along the outside edge, the inside edge, the heel, everywhere. And you can spend as long as you like doing this, and the longer you spend, the better. So rolling out. And then I also like to place the heel down and then to press into that ball. So if you imagine all of those little bones in your feet, as you press into the ball, those little bones are being moved. All of the muscles between the bones are being moved. And just kind of pressing all the way along. And kind of gone all the way across my foot, and I've just moved the ball down a little bit, and again I'm just kind of pressing and then releasing and going all the way across my foot there. So you could do that for hours. That kind of has infinite possibilities of movement there, but we'll move on to the other side. And again, we're just going to roll that foot out, making sure again that you cover the inside edge, the outside edge. This is a really nice thing to do perhaps in an evening when you're relaxing and watching TV, is to get a ball out and just roll your feet out. Another really nice thing to do is to actually get hold of your feet and move the feet around. Get your fingers between your toes, move those toes around, spread the toes. Again, feet love to move, and the more movement the better. So again, I'm not really spending an awful long time doing this because you know this and you can do this at any point. But let's just take again that moment to place the heel down, to press the ball with the foot like you're stepping on that pedal, and then just on and off the ball and just moving it along so that we've gone all the way across the foot. And then moving it down slightly. And again, just going all the way across. So just doing that a couple of times. Good. Okay. So, pop your ball to one side so that you're not going to trip over it. And we're going to stay with our feet now. So, let's start with our feet about hip width apart. And then have a look at your toes. Can you lift and spread all of your toes? And if they don't move very well, use your hands as well, because that helps. So, lift and spread. And then place them down. Let's do that 3 times. Lift and spread all of your toes and then place them down. Once more, lift and spread. Place them down. Can you lift just your big toe? So big toes up, the other toes are down. Can you lift your second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe until all toes are up, and then little toe's going to go down first, and then gradually going down through the toes until your big toe comes down. Let's do that again. Big toe first, and then lifting each toe in turn until all the toes are up, and go back the other way. Let's do that one more time. So notice whether all the toes are moving separately or whether they're wanting to move all as one. And if they are, it doesn't mean like it's going to be like that forever. It means that gives you something to work on to really try and improve that dexterity of your toes. So there's a little challenge for you. Okay, so we're going to go to our calf stretch next. So grab your rolled up towel or your half dome. So we're going to stand with our ball of our foot towards the top of the dome. Now if you have a look at this leg that's on the dome, by bringing that foot up onto the dome, I've decreased the angle between my foot and my shin. So if you see on the floor, it's kind of maybe 90 degrees, but if I bring that foot up, it's making that angle a little bit smaller. So even though we're using this as a bit of a calf stretch to find some more length down the back of the leg, it's also ankle mobility. So top of the foot to the top of the dome, stepping your other leg to about hip distance, and then just hold there for a few breaths. If we have a lot of tension down the back of the leg, it's going to pull all of our alignment out. So working on ankle mobility and finding that lengthening of the back of the leg. Let's just hold here for a few breaths. And then if that stretch has started to ease, remember you can step that free leg a little bit further forwards, but if it makes you lose your alignment, then step it back. There's no rush to get here. And then let's switch and do the same on the other side. So again, stepping that leg up, heel down, and step into hip distance. Noticing if it's different one side to the other. And just relaxing the rest of your body. So notice if it's making you want to be really tense. And let everything else just be super relaxed. And And then maybe see if you can step that free leg a little bit further forwards without losing your alignment here. We're going to go back to the first side and we're going to do our soleus stretch. So it's another of the calf muscles. The soleus stretch is a little bit deeper, a little bit lower down, and it kind of fastens onto the Achilles tendon, and that's why we're going to do that one right now. So go back to the first side. It's exactly the same setup. So ball of the foot to the top, heel down, stepping that other leg to hip distance, but this time we're going to do a slight bend of the knees. And you can feel how that calf stretch changes from standing tall to then that slight bend of the knee. I have to lean forwards because I'm super tight here. Maybe you're still upright. It's fine to lean forwards if you need to. You can rest your hands on your thighs if you need to. You can hold onto a wall if you need to. We're just looking for that bend. Heel stays down, ball of the foot to the top of your dome. And again, ankle mobility, lengthening of that soleus or that calf muscle. Couple of breaths there. Check your jaw. Let's try that on the other side. So coming back up. Ball of the foot to the top, heel down. Stepping that leg to hip distance. Once you find your calf stretch position here, we're going to again bend those knees. And hold there for a few breaths. Is it different on this side? How does that release feel? How does it feel stretchy? Does it feel like there's a lot of tension? There's a lot of stuff going on in there. Just notice. Couple more breaths here. Good. And then when you're ready, come on up and off there. We're going to pop the half down to the side. And now we're going to have a look at our heel raises. So let's come back to feet hip distance apart. Let's have those outside edges of your feet straight. And then we're going to really slowly and with control rise up just onto the balls of your feet. So don't come all the way onto your toes, just come to the balls of your feet and then lower down with control. Let's do that again, rising up onto the balls of your feet and lower down with control. We're going to stay with that. So what I want you to notice is as you come up, do your ankles want to roll out or can you keep them super straight? So if they are rolling out, maybe don't come up as high or go near a wall, something to give you just that little bit of stability so that you can work on keeping the ankles straight rather than worrying about them rolling out to the side. So that's absolutely fine to do that. So this is a really nice way to load those ankles and to help to build some strength and stability at the same time. Let's just do one more like this. And then lowering all the way down. Just give your legs a little shake out here. And we're going to come down to seated. When you're ready, come on down. So we're going to be seated now and we're going to have our legs out long in front of us. Now if you're really tight through your hamstrings, you might want to get a bolster or a cushion or something to sit on to help you sit tall. It's quite tricky to sit in this tall position with those legs out long, so don't be afraid to grab some cushions. So we've got our legs out long, we've got our legs together, and then I want you to bring your feet towards you, so really flex those feet, pushing your heels out, pulling the front of the foot towards you, and then we're going to point the toes and reach them the other way. So let's do that a couple of times. You can have your hands down on the floor. We're going to flex the feet and we're going to point the feet. How's that feel? Okay, and then this time we're going to flex the feet. So bring the feet towards you. And can you get your ankle bones on the inside to touch? Okay, so it's your medial malleolus, it's your ankle bone. Can you get them to touch while your feet are flexed? Now, can you keep those guys touching as you start to point your toes away from you? And then flex them. So we're going to work on that. We're going to ankle bones touching as we point the feet away and then come back into that flexion. Now, if you have bunions, maybe you're not going to get your ankle bones to touch just because of the shape of your feet, and sometimes just the natural shape of your feet means that the ankle bones don't quite touch. And if that's the case, I'd like you to get something like a little flannel, a little dishcloth, something that you can place between those ankle bones, something that you can get a little bit of feedback from, that you can kind of try and hold a little bit. So ankle bones are together as we point and flex. Now, as you point your toes, if your ankle bones are moving apart, it's the same as when we do our heel lifts and our ankles roll out to the sides. So this is a really good way again of strengthening the ankles to try and hold them stable and to stop that sickling. It's a compensation movement pattern. Just keep going with that flex and point, keeping those ankles together. It's a compensation pattern. It's just your body's way of kind of getting around a movement that we don't quite have. This is hard work, yeah? All right, and then just relax. Let your feet just have a little roll. Let's just do some little circles here. And circle the other way. Okay. Let's have a little bit of work in that flexion position. So that flexion is when we're decreasing the angle between the shin and the foot. And we're going to come to a half kneeling position for this. So we're going to have one leg in a kneeling position, and we're going to bring this other leg in here. So remember, we're working on this ankle here. So we're going to pull this leg in close to us. We're going to try and keep the heel down on the floor, and we're going to lean forward slightly. You can bring your hands down to the floor. And maybe it feels good to just kind of rock here, just slightly forwards and then back. Don't force it, don't go further than you're ready to go, but know that this is what we're working on. You can pull that heel as close into your body as you can. Don't be afraid to kind of play around with your position here, but do notice where we've got that foot, is that foot wanting to kind of turn out? Because again, if we're really stiff through the ankles, then what will happen is, when you're walking, your feet will turn out and you'll be kind of rolling across and through your ankle rather than rolling through the whole foot. So let's have a look where that foot is. Let's have that foot perfectly straight, so that as we come forwards, we're really working on the ankle and we're not kind of rolling the foot. Okay, let's try that on the other side. So just switching sides. Again, playing around with that, leaning forwards to decrease that angle. Hands on the floor. You can bolster yourself however you like here, because this is all we're doing, is we're working on this ankle. So if you need to kind of, you could even kind of come up and work here, if having your weight down on that back leg just didn't feel nice to you. Is it the same on both sides? Have a look at that foot again. Is that foot straight, or is it trying to turn out? And you could just hold this. You don't have to rock forwards and backwards. I like to rock forwards and backwards because I feel like my body doesn't realise what I'm doing if I'm keeping it moving all of the time. So do what works for you, whether it's that rocking or that staying still. Okay, let's go back onto all fours and let's have those tops of the feet down on the floor again here. And let's rock our weight. So like we did to kind of check how much extension we had, let's do that here. Just rocking forwards and backwards, loading and unloading. And as you take your bottom back towards your heels this time, let's stay here. And maybe if it feels okay, let's walk those hands in, so that we're coming to a kneeling position. Again, a lot of weight here. So if you are really struggling and there's a lot of tension, you can't quite get here yet, this is something really good that you can work on. So I would say get yourself your little rolled up towel and pop it just under the front of your ankle, so that you are supporting the ankle but allowing it to release and not just creating a lot of tension. So don't don't be afraid to grab a rolled up towel and place it there to allow those feet to relax. Okay, so we're going to stay, and if you need to come out of it at any time and kind of just give your toes a little stretch out the other way, do whatever you need to do if you start to get a little bit crampy. We're going to come back into that kneeling position here. So we're in that low kneel, and then notice what your feet are doing, because you can't see them. They could be up to anything behind there. So I'll turn around and show you my default position if I'm not paying attention to what my feet are doing. So if I just sit down and let my feet do what they want to do, can you see how I've kind of gone into that little bit of a sickled position again? So what I want you to do is have a look at your feet and see if you can get your feet straight, so you're lining your foot up with your shin and not allowing it to sickle out, to roll out, okay? So can you get those feet in alignment with your legs? And then maybe you can't sit all the way back, so then maybe we're just going to start to ease forwards and backwards again here. Maybe you're going to start to walk your hands in, and maybe you just need to ease into it a little bit. You need to keep your hands down on the floor and do, but maybe you can come up to that kneeling position without letting those ankles sickle and those feet roll. Now maybe you found something new there that you've not worked on before. Maybe you found some cobwebs that needed dusting, that needed removing. We're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to come forwards and give your feet a little flutter. You can bang the tops of your feet down on the floor just to release them out. Maybe you need to stretch those toes under and just have a little movement here. Grip your strap and let's go over onto our back next. So, one of the movements that our feet should be able to do is called inversion and eversion. And it's kind of the movement of the front of the foot, and it's the ability for the foot to kind of move that way, okay? And also our ankle moves that way too. If your foot doesn't move because you've got it in a walking shoe or something, or it's not able to move, your ankle's having to do an awful lot of that work. So we're going to have a little play around with that using our strap. So lie down on your back and just place your strap around the ball of your foot, the base of your toes, because that gives you maximum manoeuvrability. And then it's up to you, this leg can stay bent if you want to, or you can have it out straight, either is fine. I'm going to keep mine bent for now. And then we're going to move the foot using the strap. So I want you to pull the big toe side of your foot down so that the sole of your foot's kind of pointing in towards the centre. And then we're going to pull the little toe side of the foot down so the sole of the foot's pointing out. So let's kind of really exaggerate that by pulling the strap one side and then the other. Let's see if we can get that movement there. And already it might feel again like you're getting into some places that perhaps we've not been for a little while. And then rather than really pulling it and guiding it with the strap, can you do that with your foot? Yeah. Shall we try the other side? Switching those legs. Again, we're going to really exaggerate. We're going to use the strap first just to kind of get that idea, get your foot to know what it is you're wanting it to do. And then once you feel like you've got it, can you do it just using the foot and the ankle without using the arms to pull and guide that strap? Good job. Alright, and then let it go. Come on up to seated. So those are just some really nice ankle movements that you can start to play around with to start to build some more strength and stability in your ankles. You've done quite a lot with them there, although it doesn't feel like you've probably done a lot. There's been quite a lot of movement there. So I would say give your ankles and feet a little bit of love. Maybe go and get yourself some nice cream or some nice oil and massage your feet, your toes, your ankles, all the way up your calves. Just give it a little bit of attention because we all like that, don't we? I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.